Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy, what is today? Thursday? What's up? What's up? Make sure to like the video as you come in. Hold on. Whoop. Turn that off. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Okay, perfect. So what's up everybody? How's it going? If you've been in these YouTube streets, you kind of have a feel for what's been going on. For those who are new to my channels, part of what I do on my channel is critiques and data research, because in the Black Manosphere, they have a lot to say about Black women. So I made a part of my channel to be dedicated to addressing what is said, putting things into context, and just flat out projecting a lot of the lies that are spewed. But today, we're going to be talking about what has clearly been going on quite a lot in this space for like the past week, almost 2 weeks now. And that is Miss Lovely, amazing Pearly here. So, if you don't fully know what's going on, she sat down and did an interview with Nick Fuentes. Now, Nick Fuentes is pretty much banned all over the internet, like on all kinds of social medias. I think you can still find him at least on YouTube, but for the most part, he's not like he doesn't have his own platform on anything, right? He's a younger guy. I believe he's only like 24 or 25. He looks older to me in my opinion, but he has very interesting views. He's a hard like conservative, uh I guess far right, I'd say, type of conservative. um but he's known for his very controversial group views that are in alignment loosely with his version of conservatism. He's a big Trump supporter. You may have seen him before with Kanye because he was working with Kanye for some time. But this guy is, he's not. Yeah, if you're trying to like have a platform online and you're trying to speak about issues, I would not associate with Nick Fuentes if you're trying to have a diverse audience, because Nick Fuentes is a man that is very he has a specific audience that he needs to stick to, and bringing him on your platform, you are going to be associated with this specific group that he represents, right? So the fuss basically is that Pearl brought him on her show. I didn't watch the whole interview. I don't watch any of her content, and I think she did remove the interview. So even if you wanted to go watch it now, I don't think it's available. But everyone clipped it, and everyone has been making their critiques of what was said. But basically, in the video, they're talking about work ethic, I believe, or at least the part of the video everyone's complaining about. And she brings up how Africans, are harder workers, and she's trying to bring more of them here to the US, or more of them to where she's at in London. I don't know the exact conversation that went down, but basically everyone took it like she insinuated that um Black American people don't work as hard as African people. And everyone took offense to this because she has Black people that work for her on her show. She invites Black people to her show all the time, and she has a lot of Black viewers. And Nick obviously agrees with her, and he's the one who actually gets real specific and says, something about the Blacks don't work hard enough or something like that. And there's another clip from when he was on her show where he's talking to an Italian woman, and this Italian woman has a Black boyfriend, and he's all like, you're the one who's gonna get canceled or shunned from the Italian community because you have a Black boyfriend. And by the way, he's Italian, and so was that girl. So, people are questioning Pearl's intentions with bringing Nick Fuentes on her show, considering her involvement with Black people in her business and just in the overall media she pushes. And she claims that her media and her platform is for everyone. However, she has the same type of people on her show all the time, and those are Black people. Okay, she doesn't have people on her show that look like her. She doesn't have a lot of people working for her that look like her. Everyone is people of color. So to bring on a man who has, not the best views of the Black community specifically, when she has Black viewers and Black people working for her, is not a good look. And people are considering her a white woman who is in alignment with this white nationalism rhetoric. So, my thoughts on this, because I am actually a Black conservative. So, I think what Pearl said is wrong. Number one, I don't think anybody from any group should feel so comfortable speaking about another group and what they're doing. Like me as a Black woman, I would never get on a platform and talk about the negative things that Native Americans are doing or something. Like that's just not my place. Even if I may see some negative things that Native Americans do, it's still not my place to speak on that because I'm not Native American. I'm not a descendant of their history and all of that. Like that's not my experience. That's not my environment. So I may see something Native Americans do that are negative, but I'm going to be speaking on that from a place of misunderstanding. So I'm just going to choose not to speak. And at the end of the day, I'm really not even going to care that much because I'm not Native American. Like I'm Black. I'm focusing on issues with me and my group, my culture, my race, because that's my experience, right? So, for Pearl to get on here on her platform and have so much to say about a group of people she'll never really understand because she's not one of them is very ignorant of her. It shows how comfortable the Black people she's been around have made her to feel like she can comment things like this. And she excuses it because she's read some books by this guy, Thomas Soyle, who is he's also a Black conservative that's written a lot of books back in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, or what have you. Um, on Black conservatism. A lot of Black conservatives will reference Thomas Soyle and tell you to read his books and things like that. But just because she's read these books doesn't mean she has the experience to speak on Black people and why Black people don't work as hard as Americans or why Black people are late. Like that's not something a white person should be talking about. Even though you're a conservative, and this is what's been annoying me about seeing black conservatives, if they've actually been excusing Pearl for this. I am a black conservative, and I'm not going to excuse other groups of people saying negative things about other groups of people. So, that's not, no matter who it is. Hispanics talking about Native Americans, Asians talking about white people. It's weird. Like, why do you care to talk about this group that you're not in? On experiences that you'll never be able to understand. Why do you care? Like, just leave it, drop it, dead it. Like, you do kind of seem racist when you say that. um but me personally, I think her comments in general were racist. I mean, obviously there's black people that work hard, obviously there's black people that are on time. Africans aren't the only ones. So to say it all like that, it is racist. And usually, a lot of white women like her who date black men, a lot of them do be racist for real. My brother, his ex-wife is white, and when they were dating for 2 years, it was all fun and games. She was getting BBC, but when things got real and she got pregnant, my brother decided to propose to her to do the right thing. So they ended up getting married. Long story short, the marriage only lasted 6 months. They divorced. It was crazy, very dramatic, fighting, cursing each other out. She obviously was calling my brother the N word. Now they have a biracial daughter, my niece, and she does not want her daughter to have any black hairstyles or anything. She tells my brother all the time, she's not a black child, she's biracial. Now, I agree with that. I agree that biracial people are biracial. I don't call biracial people black. Um, but she said it in a way that is like being like being black is a bad thing. She had that type of attitude. Like, my daughter's not getting braids. Ew, are you kidding me? Like, she had that type of vibe, and that's not right. It's not right to have that type of attitude towards braids. Like, you know, but a lot of them do be racist, y'all. Like, a lot of them want to sleep with black men, and be careful because there's also white men like this. A lot of white men enjoy sleeping with black women, but at the end of the day, they are racist. They do consider the black community bottom of the bottom, lowest of the low. We're all just ugh, but yet they want to sleep with us. Yet they want to get affection from us. But it's like that's all we're good for, though, is the point. So there's a lot of white people that think like this. There's a lot of white people who are removed from what racism feels like, and like what it means to be racist. They consider this them just telling the truth. They consider this them just saying what they see of black people, so it's not racist. But I don't agree, because just because you see someone of a certain group doing something doesn't mean that it's all that group is about. I'm more about culture. So, my opinion as a black woman, yes, there's a lot of black men that perpetuate a culture of degeneracy, but I don't think, me personally, I know there's a lot of black women that obviously don't agree with this, but me personally, I don't think that black men do that because they're black. They do it because it's a cultural thing, because there's white men who love that type of culture too. There's Asian men who do as well. So it's not always about race. Some things have to do with culture. And that's where I believe black women over here talk about, when they talk about black men and the issues in the black community, it's a cultural thing. It has nothing to do with race, because there's other black people that don't subscribe to the cultural degeneracy either, and that are thriving. We just need more of that. So, this is why Pearl is under fire, because she had this white supremacist on her show. Like, come on. Like, if you're on the internet, and especially if you tune into maybe some political stuff sometimes, you probably have seen Nick Fuentes before. Um Now, it's not a secret that Pearl is a conservative, that she is a right wing conservative. That's not news, but people just weren't under the impression she was like Nick Fuentes, a conservative. You know what I'm saying? So, this is what's surprising. And then the conversation in general, it was also surprising too. So, after all of this came out, the Manosphere obviously blew up, right? They're making videos back to back, coming for Pearl, coming for her sitting with Nick Fuentes. I mean, they're really like, they're a few of them are shocked, but but there is quite a number of black men in the black manosphere that have no problem with Pearl sitting down with the white supremacists, have no problem with her kiki and he at black people being lazy compared to um, African black people. There's a significant number of black men that just simply don't care. That they're giving her a pass. Exactly, Bridget. She got a pass from black men. Yes. Yes. And you know what? They put her at the forefront of their space. Okay. They put her at the forefront of her space. And this means that for them to do that, it had to be an automatic that if she were to say something racist, it wouldn't be a big deal. They wouldn't care. And I said this before when Pearl started blowing up. I've said this before um, in a live a few months ago that you would never find a opposite sex, different race, heterosexual man at the forefront of BWE. That would never happen, ever. Okay? That would never happen. A heterosexual, different race man would never be the forefront of BWE. It just wouldn't go down like that. And uh but in the manosphere, they don't follow by those rules. Clearly, if you can just tell these black men what they want to hear, especially if you're doing it while white or Asian or a foreign woman from overseas, you can be the forefront. You'll get at the top. And I've watched a lot of commentary videos on this from black men who oppose what's going on. And these black men just don't understand why the black men who are giving Pearl a pass, why they are so hell bent on making sure that black women get this message. Right? They're so hell bent on doing it that they will let a white supremacist step into their space and do it. Yes, I do believe uh she's a white guys, white people who don't agree with white supremacy and aren't racist in general, they've all told me that people like Nick Fuentes and these far right wing white people tend to be like out the way. Like they're considered like weird to other white people who may also be conservative, but they're not like racist and all of that. They just believe in conservative traditional way of living, but they don't need to include race into all of that. Right? They just stay away from people who maybe are too liberal or non-traditional, no matter what color you are, Asian, black, or any other white people. But white people who aren't racist, who aren't white supremacists, they do not hang out with other white supremacist people. They don't. They don't hang out with other racist people because it's weird and it makes them uncomfortable, no matter their political stance. It's just the truth. Like Nick Fuentes is known amongst a lot of folks, but he's not like the face or forefront for white men. There's quite an extremely large number of white men that don't mess with Nick Fuentes, that think he's weird. I mean, the white men in charge of these platforms blocked his tail. So obviously, the most powerful white men who are in charge of these platforms also are okay with Nick Fuentes not coming on the internet and not being around. Okay, so that let's just get that clear. And it's the same for black people. Black people that aren't so hotep and pro-black and all of that, they're not gonna sit down with other hotep black people. It is what it is. Like I'm not a pro-black. Sorry, I'm not. I believe in being a woman first before being black. Because as a black woman, that's really what's going to help you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to find yourself, is to look at yourself as a woman that has needs. So I'm not going to be BFFs with an extremely pro black woman, pro black woman, I mean to say. I'm not gonna, me and her might not get along because we will have different views. Therefore, I'm probably not going to be hanging out with her. I'm trying to hang out with black women that are, you know, all different types of personalities, but at the end of the day, we want to have a good time for us. Like, we're professional, we're cute. Like, I'm not hanging out with black women that believe the white man is out to get us. Like, that's just not my type. I'm sorry. Like, no shade, but that's just not my type. I want to be with a black woman who believe they can do anything, no matter their race, no matter where they're at, that they can date anyone, they can travel anywhere, they can try any type of foods. Like, I'm not with those types of people, okay? I don't hang out with those types of black people that believe they're in a jail cell of white supremacy. I'm not I'm not going to do that. Like, we're not going to be close. We can be cool, but we're not going to be close. It's just not me. So there's white people like that too. Like, there are white people that just, they're not going to hang out with these white nationalists, white supremacists, because it's just, it makes them uncomfortable and it's stupid. Okay, so for Pearl to sit down with Nick says a lot, guys. Like, who you know, your network is like your net worth. Like, who you know, it matters. Who you decide to surround yourself with, it matters. And so in her like response and apology videos and she's going on different Black Manosphere channels and talking and all this stuff, she's trying to act dumb. She's trying to be like, oh, I didn't know about Nick Fuentes. I didn't know what he was about. He's canceled. So I just want to have him on my channel and, sit down and talk to him, because I've been through scrutiny and so has he. So, we could just sit down and talk. And it's just like, first of all, Nick Fuentes has been banned for a while. He didn't just recently get banned. He wasn't trending. Like, there was no real reason to have him on anybody's platform at this time. Like, he's not in the news for anything. He didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been banned. Like, you could have been did this. There was no real reason for you to do this. So, and then she's acting dumb. Like, don't act stupid. Don't act like you don't know his views. There was another video that came out of another her of Pearl on another podcast, I think the No Jumper podcast, and the host of the show actually told her, like, I think you and Nick have similar views. Like, so she's over here acting like she just didn't know. I'm sorry, and oh my god, what? Like, that is not the case. Pearl knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. I do think that Pearl is trying to switch over to a different type of audience, to a different type of, um, you know, topics and type of stuff. Like, I think that she's no longer trying to have Black people at the center of her business. I think now she is trying to attract white people of a different kind, far right white people, and she just needed Black viewership and Black people to create that entertainment, to create that wow factor, to get her to where she really want to go, which is on the sides of Nick Fuentes. For y'all who don't know, because I am a Black conservative, so I did a lot of research. For y'all who don't know, far right conservatives have a whole nother like world that on the internet that they go on and stay on all the time, that they exchange their ideas and views and whatever about society. It's pretty much blocked off from the rest of us that aren't that right wing, or if you're not at all, you're liberal, you're not going to find that stuff. It's like all the way out in the internet. But these people be having money, okay? Like, they have a lot of influence. They know certain people in the system, and they have their own spaces, all right? It's not open to everyone. And I think Pearl has always been right wing. I think her family, she comes from a conservative family. She got like 10 limb brothers and sisters or whatever. So, that is like a sign that, she look, I don't know. I'm not gonna like speak so much on her family history, but at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter as much what she said in this interview. It matters most with the fact that she did it in the first place. Okay, that's what says a lot. I would never invite anyone on my platform. For those who don't know him, Obsidian. I would never invite Obsidian on my channel. I'm sorry. Like, I would never invite him on my channel. What the hell? Just to be like, oh, I don't know what he's about, and he gets a lot of scrutiny, and let's just sit down and have a chat. Let's talk about some things. And Obsidian is also what he has said himself, he is also a Black conservative. He comes from a two-parent home. I know some things about Obsidian because I've watched his content before. When I first came on to YouTube, I've watched all the Manosphere people before I came out and really just departed and started my own thing. But yeah, I would say me and him have certain things in common as far as like views and outside of YouTube, as far as like our political views, our family history. I am a Black woman. I come from a two-parent home as well. Like, we have certain things that we could share commonalities on. I would still never invite him here. Okay? And that is how it looks to Pearl. Why are you inviting on a white supremacist, a white nationalist rather, knowing you have a Black staff? You date Black men. She dates Black men. Hold on. She dates Black men, and she is inviting a white supremacist on her channel. Y'all need to understand this. I'm telling you right now, because my brother only dates white women. I don't know why. Just whatever. He just does, right? These white women can be racist if they have Black boyfriends. This shouldn't be news to you. They can be racist if they have Black boyfriends and they know that maybe they're not going to get the white guy that they really want, so they'll settle for the Black guy. And but that doesn't mean they're proud of it and happy about it, and that doesn't mean they still don't believe the Black community ain't ish for real. Like, they'll believe all that stuff and get with a Black man. So she's sitting down with him, dating Black men, a white nationalist male who believes that the white race needs to be saved and all that stuff. Now, for me personally, if you are of a certain group and you believe your people need to survive, so you promote your people only getting with each other, I'm not going to sit here and say that's a problem, because you can do that. We still need a lot of people in these groups to get together so that we can still exist. For Black women to exist the way that we are, we would still need some type of Black people to get together, whether they're Africans or somebody. We would still need them to have fully 100% Black girls, especially in this space. So, but I don't think that means Black women should choose to date off of those reasons. Date whoever you want. But I'm saying, like, for all races to continue, these races still need to get together to a certain extent. However, white nationalism and all this other stuff, white people are the majority here. So it's going to take a lot to get them breeded out. The only way the white race in the US would get breeded out is not if they all date interracially, but it's actually if they stop dating each other altogether. Okay, there's not enough Black women available to date white men and procreate with white men that will eliminate the white race. Like, there's not enough Black women to do that. Okay. Not even by a long shot. So the real reason why the white race would stop creating is if they just stop creating kids together, because there's plenty of them to date out and date each other to create white kids. But if they're only dating out and then not dating each other, then they will become like no more. But there's too many white people, so you're never going to eliminate them by dating Blacks and Asians. There's too many of them. Just got a call, whatever. So yeah, yes, Mary, the situation is funny. So now let's just get into and I'll drop the link soon so that you guys can come on and talk about this. But let's just get into like what the manosphere is actually saying about this, what the heavy hitters are saying about this. So everyone says that O'Shea Duke Jackson is a prominent like leader figure type of dude in the manosphere, and he has been making videos left and right about this situation. He's obviously not against it. Now, O'Shea says that he is pro-Black. Despite the videos he makes about Black women, I tend to watch, of all things in the manosphere, I tend to watch his video. his videos sometimes, when I want to do, or when, something is going on and I need to do a manosphere critique. I'll probably go to his channel because he talks about everything. And he keeps it, his videos are short, thank God. Okay, his videos ain't no 1 hour long because I ain't trying to watch that shit for no 1 hour long. Ooh, excuse my friends. But he he had a lot to say about Pearl. He thinks that the whole thing is wrong. He has been saying that the black men supporting this are some weak ass and he said flat out, he called black men weak over this. He said this is why no one respects the black man. His videos on this, he really came for black men, like for real, for real. I mean, he really turned. And then at the end of it all, um, he said he's deciding to no longer be a part of the black manosphere, and what he really wants to do is make comedy content. And he's living in Africa and everything too. So he has completely crapped on the black men that support this and Pearl, even though when Pearl was on the rise, he was basically pushing her also to be at the forefront. Like, he wasn't against her being at the forefront of the black manosphere. He was making videos, maybe I shouldn't say pushing it, but definitely encouraging it, not dismissing it either. He was full on welcoming her as the leader, right? So, and he's supposed to technically be the creator of the black manosphere because he started a website, the Negro Manosphere or something like that, years ago. And then it came onto YouTube. So he is and he's also a black conservative too, but he's a pro-black conservative. So he's not with the racist stuff either. And I wouldn't say I'm not pro-black, so I'm definitely not a pro-black black conservative, but I'm just in general a black conservative. I don't got problems with nobody's race. It is what it is. Do what you want to do. But I'm more for critiquing and having a problem with cultural norms that are degenerative. That's my stance. That's my source of conservatism. So, it doesn't matter race for me, because over here it's best man for the job. So it don't matter what race. Degenerate and dust isn't everywhere. Okay, so that's that. But O'Shea Duke Jackson has been making videos on her all week, every single day. And she's come on Obsidian's channel. She did a live with him yesterday. I did not watch that entire thing, but from what I've heard, Obsidian supports her. Thinks she did nothing wrong, of course. But let's also talk about, some of the black women that are in the manosphere and how, I guess, maybe a little messed up they may feel about all of this, because they've been major supporters of black men way before Pearly came on, and they don't even have a fraction of the support that she has from black men, right? All the hard work that they do, all of their promotion of black love and black family and submitting to the black man and losing weight for the black man, for the average earning black man, all of that. Like, these black women have been on here really pushing for it. I mean, they feel dumb, and they're also really pissed off about this. They also went on live and said that, the Negroes who supported Pearl are very problematic. I mean, they're turning on black men a little bit as well, the ones that support her, right? So, but keep in mind, ladies, that this is nothing. This has nothing to do with black women. This has nothing to do with black women over here on the BWE. We did not put Pearl on a pedestal. We did not care. And it's also not a surprise that white validation means a lot in the manosphere. Let me tell you what means a lot in the manosphere. Number one, your ability to critique and crap on black women, no matter who you are. And number two, doing it while white. And number three, a combination of one and two. Okay. They that is what is considered to be the money making combo, money making strategy points in the manosphere. All right. So um black men in this space, in the manosphere space, that support pearly things, they obviously support pale supremacy. I mean, you just they just do, y'all. And it's sad, right? It's real sad, but it's not surprising. Like us as black women over here, we're not surprised. Because if you're able to talk crap about if you're able to talk crap about black women, you'll make money in the manosphere. You'll make money in the space. Or if you're a woman who's hot in the eyes of black men, you're fine, you're cute, and you just talk about how amazing black men are and how the world just doesn't see it and they don't understand you, black man. But my brother, I get you. If you're able to do all that, you'll also make money. Okay. So this is just real funny, and it's funny to see the true colors as well. Another manosphere creator that a lot of people were kind of hoping to, or were just really curious about, was the lead attorney. Okay. The lead attorney went live yesterday to give his stance on everything. And he basically said, I didn't watch the whole video either, child. It's 4 hours. I ain't watching that. But he basically said that he does not think Pearl is racist. And his reason for this was because he is from Atlanta, Georgia, the South. And he was saying that, the people criticizing Pearl and calling her racist, they just haven't seen real racism because they're probably not from the South. And I do agree that, of course, the epitome of racism in this country probably lies in the South. One of his detractors left in the chat that it still doesn't matter. There's different types of racism everywhere, just like different types of violence. There's different types of everything. So just because the racism isn't as bad as the white supremacy racism that's in the South doesn't mean it's not racism. Right. So that was his stance. But the lead attorney isn't liked by a lot of the manosphere people anyway, because they have a lot of different reliance on. I don't really care for him either. Um, but this none of this is surprising. Okay. If you're white and you want to make some money, start a YouTube channel and tell black men that they're correct. Okay. That's all you got to do. Talk trash about black women. You can have some money. I think Pink Pill, shout out to her, she gave an example of a white man who actually did that. He started a YouTube channel talking trash about black women, only to then take all the money that black men were giving him and then take a black woman out on a date and date her and completely bamboozle the black manosphere into having them believe that he was really like against black women. Even though I don't believe that's the best type of situation either, because it's like a black woman was used to prove a point instead of being asked out genuinely for genuine reasons. Still, it still shows the proof that if you want to make money amongst black men, don't offer them resources, don't offer them advice on how they can be better men. Just talk trash about their woman, just talk trash about the white man and the system, and you'll probably be better off gaining something from them, which is sad. It says a lot about them as a group of men, right? So I don't really know what's next for the black manosphere space after this. I don't know if they're going to still continue to watch her. She did upload a apology video. Like I said before, she did take down that video with Nick Fuentes, or maybe it got flagged down because Nick Fuentes is not, he's banned all over the internet. So they probably took it down. Right. They probably had a lot of people flagging it anyway. So I don't know what's next for her, but I know on her channel she has 1.38 million subscribers, but her videos can barely get past 5,000 views. So that's really strange. That's really kind of weird. I mean, to have that many subscribers, like your video should be at least 1% of your subscribers should be checking for your stuff like when you upload. Now she does upload like multiple times a day. So maybe that could be it as well. She uploads like 3 little video clips a day on her channel. But still, like that's a lot. And even when she goes live, she still doesn't get a lot of viewers from what I've heard. Right. So, I don't know what's next for her. I don't know what's next for her channel. The Black Manosphere just proved that they're all a joke. They're not going to be taken seriously because of this. And I look, I don't really feel bad for them. I'm definitely not surprised because play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. You put this white woman at the forefront, making her feel like because she dates black men or because she's in with the black community, she can't be racist. And that's never the case for these white people. If you want to invite a white person into the black community like this, they're still white. Okay, don't forget that. They're still of a different race. They still don't really understand what's going on. But I don't know why there's black people out there that think that they can just invite other groups of people in and think, oh, yeah, they one of us. No, they're not. Are you blind? They're white. They're Asian. They're Hispanic. Do your eyes deceive you? Like, they're not going to understand what black people go through. Therefore, they're going to say stupid stuff out of their mouths. They're going to say things out of ignorance, and they're going to say things automatically from a place of misunderstanding. And because of that, uh, your feelings are going to get hurt as a black person because you're going to think that this white person had your back and they didn't. Now, I have white friends. I love my white girlfriends. I've been friends with them since high school. Never have they said anything about the black community, never about race. And guess what? I don't talk about their race either. They're Irish and whatever. I don't talk about nothing Irish people did whatever centuries ago, the potato famine and the Mayflower. I don't talk about stuff like that. I don't care to do so. It's not, no, because I'm not racist. My friends aren't racist. I don't date racist non-black men. The topic of race doesn't come up like that. Now, in my relationships with white men, if anything like that comes up, it's because it's in the news. Maybe something happened. There was a current event. So I talk to my man about current events. Like we just have basic conversation. But no, we don't just randomly I don't talk about race with my man. And he's not black. Like I don't do that. I don't care to because that's not what I'm about. I'm a black woman and I don't put blackness at the epitome of my life. Like there's so many other things that I like to do, that I like to talk about, that I've experienced. And I don't put race in. I just don't. Sorry. I don't. But white supremacists, one way to know a white supremacist or just a person who's racist specifically towards black people is that they will just randomly start talking about race. They will randomly start talking about slavery and black people and find it so interesting and all these things. And oh, I don't think it's that big of a deal though. Blah blah. Like, that's kind of how it's like, okay, why do you care to talk about this in 2023? Like, yes, slavery happened. It was atrocious. Never gonna debate that, never gonna not acknowledge that, but it's not my day-to-day experience, as in I'm not picking cotton as a black person. I'm not rejected from restaurants because I'm black as a black person. So I don't need to make that a topic of discussion with people that I meet and people that I talk to. Okay, at the same time, I'm not neglecting my own history because my great 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 grandmother was born a slave, okay? And she got pregnant at 16 by her master, okay? So yeah, unfortunately, I got some of that European blood in me too, but a lot of us do. I mean, come on now. But I'm not going around talking about atrocious things that happened within my lineage to people that I meet because I'm deciding to live my life with abundance, with positivity, with opportunity, and I'm deciding to focus on things that bring me joy. And I associate with people that do the same. So This stuff just doesn't come up. Like, if I meet a Jewish person, they're not going to start talking to me about the Holocaust. We're talking about other things. These atrocious things happen throughout our history and everyone's lineage, respectively, but it's not something that's going to be a topic of discussion. Okay, so if I meet someone and they're talking about these things, I know automatically, like, and they're really passionate about it. I mean, they're really trying to hone it into you, like, this is what they think of this historical event. It is gonna raise a flag in my mind. I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it is a flag in my mind that this person is race focused. This person is they're a little much, you know? Of course, I talk about race here on this platform. I'm not saying you never talk about race, but there is a time and a place. When I'm out living life, I don't need to talk about atrocities. I don't. Sorry, that's just me. That's just me personally. I did have a pro black girlfriend, and she was really like, that's what she wanted to talk about. She wanted to talk about reparations all the time. She wanted to talk about white supremacy all of the doggone time. And it's just like no, like, I don't want to talk about this all the time, right? I don't want to. So I'm over it. I don't want to talk about that. But that's just me. So the fact that she's bringing on a white supremacist that definitely wants to talk about this stuff all the time, it says a lot about her. Sorry, she's a content creator, but if she was really curious about the far right, when are you going to bring on the far left? Like, and granted, she does bring on these girls who are feminist or whatever, but I noticed that she brought on, well, she brought on that Destiny guy who's pretty far left as well. But actually, Destiny was far right at one point, and he completely like switched his views. But it's just a little much. It's just a little much. It's easier to stomach a far left than it is to stomach a far right. Honestly, if we're being real, it's harder to stomach a far right, and that is even from people who are conservative. They can't deal with it. So it's just very insensitive overall. She has black viewers. She has black people that work for her. She dates black men, and she shouldn't bring up somebody like this. Says a lot about her. Other people have reported that she has similar views in him, right? So let me I'm going to drop the link. Anyone who's anybody, if you want to come up, you can talk about it. Haven't dropped the link in a while. But it is what it is. This isn't surprising. This would never happen in the BWE. Um, ever. This would never happen. Okay. Let's just be clear on that. So to watch all this go down, and I feel like there's always something going down in the manosphere that actually makes them look crazy, because there are things that go down in the BWE space, but it's never to this extent. I don't believe it's to this extent where black women as a collective are looking crazy. Um, in the black manosphere, when things happen, they look crazy. They say crazy things and they do crazy stuff. When things happen in BWE, it's just amongst black women. Like, it doesn't involve a white person. It really doesn't. The things that happen in BWE involve other black women and other black women only. And then it only involves black woman content creators. And then it's usually over something that was said within the BWE space. It's like maybe a topic, you know. Um, it's just never to the point where the collective of black women are looking stupid, to the point where we're not taken seriously, because that doesn't happen. Black women are definitely taken seriously in society, considering the programs that are open to us. The Goldman Sachs offering black women money for their businesses. Like, there's so much proof that will tell you that black women and our collective are taken seriously much more, despite the twerking, despite the city girls, despite all of that stuff. Black women still have a lot more in society being offered to them compared to black men. So that's just undebatable. That is seriously undebatable. For real. But this isn't gonna stop. This isn't gonna end. They're gonna continue to talk about her. And at the end of it all, Pearl said that she is looking to seek revenge. She is looking to seek revenge on the content creators that switched up on her. So instead of her just taking her L and saying, I mean, I think she did apologize, but now she also wants revenge as well. So that shows you that she's not really that sorry. She's not really all that sorry because she still wants revenge on the content creators who came for her. So she clearly like still believes some of the things she said. She does believe that Africans work harder than Black Americans. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hey, Black woman making money. She says maybe she thought Nick could get her close to Kanye, more eyeballs on her channel. That's what I think too. Girl, if you invited us sitting over here, I would have to check your temperature. Right. I would never. I would never invite someone that is completely against what I have to say. Oh, and Sheray's backstage. Hey Sheree, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for coming
Good.
up.
Yes, absolutely, girl. I'm supposed to be working. I actually am headed to a meeting, but I'm like, I gotta come on, give you a shout out, and
Yes.
this whole thing is very telling and very disappointing. Um,
Mhm.
I I'm just like it's easier for me to gossip on your channel than my own. So let's be real.
Yes.
but
Okay.
but it is very revealing. I'm not surprised. I called this out like months ago on my channel as well that this was going to end up being a problem,
Mhm.
and I really do. f- In a way, feel for, and that's a very loose term, the women who are staying, you know, um, in the Black manosphere space in spite
Mhm.
of everything that has happened. It's just like, when do you say enough is enough and you're walking away, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, Obsidian is just looking for a paycheck. This is the other thing as well, is there are the biggest channels out there, the loudest channels out there, they have to have the YouTube check.
Mhm.
And, a lot of that is because of, in my opinion, the things I talk about on my channel, people not having resources.
Yeah.
So if these people, these individuals had resources, whether it was, I heard that King Rich's guy said, where am I going to go if I leave Pearl?
Mm.
Or,
Mhm.
some of the other people, that woman, Auntie Jenny. The only reason I know these things is because people pull clips and I just see the clips.
Right. Yeah.
She's
Same.
apparently an auto mechanic or something like that. You
Yeah.
know, these are not rich people that work for this woman. And then the people that want to attach themselves to her, they don't have any money. This is a resource issue at the end of the day for, I would say, the super majority of people. And this is why, if you don't have your skills together in your networks, like, I need to be like, hey, if you're mistreating me, I'm gonna bounce. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this is a money issue at the end of the day, and it's really sad.
It's definitely a money issue. It's really sad that there are black people that are the ones that are working for her are quite literally willing to sell out what they know, give up what they know is wrong to cash a check.
But
I
here's
mean,
the thing, I hate to be prejudiced like this, but I might as, the King Riches guy, for example, like, I understand what he's saying in a way. Where would he go? What skills does he have?
right.
And I'm not saying I know him like that, but I don't know him at all, really, I don't really watch him, but the little bit that I've seen,
I've
I
never
don't
watched.
know. Well, outside of the
Yeah,
clip, that's what I'm saying. Like, I
yeah, the
saw one
clip, yeah.
clip of him
Mm,
because it was part of a longer stream, and he was
yeah.
saying, "There's nowhere I could go, where I would get paid this much. If I left Pearl, where
Oh,
would I go?" During the whole,
huh,
meltdown of this thing, and I'm listening
yeah.
to him, I'm listening to his diction, I'm seeing him physically, and I'm like, "Oh, this is an issue here."
I mean, yeah, I agree. If you don't want to say it, I'll say it. He does not look like he would thrive anywhere else. His
Yes, I
looks
was
just,
trying not to say it like that, but
girl.
but
No, I'll
he
say it.
it's like there are some men like the lead attorney who literally could put on a suit. He could go network at a golf course,
Hmm.
and he could,
Hmm.
get another job at some law firm or something like that potentially. Like there
Hmm.
there are some Black people who have more opportunities than
Hmm.
others. The other interesting thing, I haven't heard anybody talk about this wife school except it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Remember, she was supposed to do the wife school, and at the time, I thought, wow, I wonder if her analytics are saying that a lot of women are listening to her because I wouldn't have imagined that that would work. And then all of a sudden it fizzled away. So, you know,
Yeah, and also, I mean, she's not married herself. So it's just kind of like a
well,
lot of
he was
the critique.
supposed to have Auntie Jenny leading the classes, but I'm like, why would I pay to get wife lessons from Auntie Jenny? Is that
Right.
mean?
No, it's not mean. I've seen the mechanic lady, right?
Yeah, the
She is
mechanic.
definitely, I look, this is respectfully and no shade, but for a woman like me and other black women like me, they would not want to end up like her as far as her look and how she talks and how she sees things. She just wouldn't fit the mold. Okay.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
it just wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. It just doesn't work, unfortunately. So yeah, yeah. And if you ever invited Obsidian over, I would have to like come behind the scenes and go, girl, what is going on?
Did you get hacked?
Did you get hacked? Do we need to cash app you some money? Like, what are you doing?
He did invite me on his platform like 2 years ago when I first started my channel because I had
Mhm.
a black man on my channel by the name of oh god, I forgot his name. Oh, I'm so sorry if you're watching this, but he has a channel dedicated to critiquing the manosphere as well, and
Mhm.
he's a black man and he has a
Mhm.
PhD, so he also on the side would do, he's called tracking the black manosphere, and so he would just critique
Ah.
everything and expose the stupidity of what these black men believe. So I had him on my channel to interview him because he was like the only black man that I could find that was very firmly against the black manosphere rhetoric.
Mhm.
And so Obsidian is always trying to clown this guy specifically. And since I interviewed him, he wanted me to come on his channel. He sent me
Mhm.
an email and everything. I said no. Because I would just be on there. He would just not let me talk. He would just yell. He would just throw out all these statistics out of context. And then I tried to explain them and he wouldn't let me. It would have just been a mess.
It would
So
have
I
been a
was
mess.
like, why would I go on? Just for it doesn't even have to be because of that reason, but for what I stand for, I have in general nothing to say to Obsidian. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing I can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, and you have people who are saying, "Oh, we want to repair the Black family. Oh, we want to bring Black men and women together." And then you listen to the things that they're saying, and it's like, no, you don't,
Don't,
and I'm
right?
saying this as an objective person because look, I absolutely believe that any of you ladies should definitely, date across the ethnic board.
Mhm.
Find the best unicorn for you, no matter what his ethnicity is,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
But But there are some people who really do wanna repair the Black community and the Black family, but if you're seeing over and over again, you're looking through history, you're looking through the time when you were a little girl and growing up in college and now seeing this and you see the same cycle over and over again, you get to a point where you're like, if nothing's gonna change. I'm one little person. Let me just walk away and do me and, like, not
Right.
pull my hair out trying to repair the community, and that's kind of where I had gotten about a year ago. I was like, "I'm done." You know?
Yeah,
I'm done.
exactly. I mean, it is exhausting because you see what black men are saying online and it's not attractive. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you want to believe, "Oh, I could definitely build a loving family with this man who believes that all black women are overweight and baby mamas and
Mhm.
not submissive. Oh yeah, we'll totally last." Like,
Yeah.
what? That doesn't
Or,
make it
or the black men who don't believe those things, they're quiet, which is okay because 'cause I've spoken to a few of them. They're like, "Look, we're offline, we're building our businesses, we're doing et cetera." It's, their thing. I'm like, "Yeah, I absolutely agree with that."
Mhm,
The issue is that there's not enough for the quality Black women that are out there,
mhm.
number 1, and then number 2 is anybody under the age of 30, especially any young man under the age of 30, they're not able to see the quote unquote "good guys" building. All they see is the ratchetness, the loud ratchetness on social media. So any young lady under the age of 30, I mean, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm 28.
Yeah,
And the guys that I see the most, yes, are the ones who are loud, are the ones who have no regard for women at all. They don't really want to be husbands. They don't really want wives. They just want a woman who's going to serve them and do what they
right,
say. They have
right.
no real grasp on how a relationship is supposed to work, especially marriage. So it's definitely difficult out here. Girl, you don't even want to.
Yeah, no, it is difficult. And the truth is, it's not just relationships. If image means a lot, Chrissy has really kind of like gotten me to take a hard look at that, and she's right about that.
Yeah.
So if you have a woman in HR and recruiting, and she's looking at what's happening in the Black manosphere, and then she has a young man in front of her at the office, what is she going to think? Like, these things are important as well. This has a ripple effect. And then
Mhm.
people wanna scream racism all the time, but sometimes it really is our fault that we're not
Right.
putting up the right image. So, um, yeah, it just I was glad that I was able to get, your perspective. I was doing some work and I was able to pop on YouTube for a few minutes. I just wanted to come up and say hello before I head out. But I definitely would love your crystal ball with regards to the women of the Black manosphere and knowing what do you think they're ultimately going to do? Do you think they're going to stay? Do you think there's going to be a fracture there?
I definitely think that there's gonna be I think they're gonna probably stay, but it'll just look different. I don't think that they're gonna be supporting all of the black men anymore,
Mhm.
because I think they are now seeing just how many black men still don't want to give them support
Mhm.
over Pearl, who literally sat down with a white supremacist, something that these black women have never done, would never do, especially. And I think they're still going to stay. I just think that they may be a little less inclusive of all the black men, but even with that, that may not even happen. I think they will still try to fight hard for the black man and for the black family. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a black family today in 2023, but like you said, I think it's going to be a lot harder because the black men who
Mhm.
are quiet, the young woman can't see them, can't find them as well. So I'm the same. I've said before, this is a best man for the job type of platform over here. So find the best, no matter his race, and it's okay that if it is a black family, that's fine. But
Mhm.
um, the statistics and the reality will just tell you that it may not be the easiest process. That's all.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna still try to fight for that. But
Well,
they're not.
the
Mhm.
most interesting person, I'm not watching any of her videos, but if someone does a clip as part of their, discussions and lives, I'll watch it, is Crimson Cure for me.
Mhm.
Because she is, in my opinion, the person that has gone the hardest. And I was shocked to see the Black Men on Obsidian's panel call her out for questioning Pearl. I mean, the stuff that they said to her and the other women of the Black Manosphere was just, I was like, wow, the abuse, you know? So, and it really was, in my opinion. What I heard was just awful.
Yeah, I've watched a few of Crimson Cure's lives, like probably a year or so ago. I haven't watched too many as of recently, but she's a widow, I believe, and
Mm,
she is a little bit older, and she's like all covered up and everything. So I think that's why she's never gonna be like the head woman in charge of the Black Manosphere, because the Black men don't find her attractive, and they probably see her more as a mother mammy figure, versus Pearl, who's white. She's not good looking in my opinion, no shade, but
mhm.
I've seen some beautiful white women. I don't wouldn't consider Pearl exactly there.
No, no, she isn't. And I mean, and that's like across everybody saying that she's not, you know.
She's not, but I
Mm,
think it's the main thing is that she's white, and she has the courage to get up on her microphone and talk to black women and tell them about themselves, all these different black girls she has on her show, and that is what black men want to see. They want to see the pale supremacy in action towards black women. And Crimson Cure doesn't do that. She doesn't offer that. So I don't think that is something that she's not the type of person that black men would put on a pedestal, at least the collective. My
no, I've only watched like a portion of about 2 or 3 of her videos just to get a feel for her. And no, I don't think they'll put her on a pedestal, but um, there was this, saying, protect such and such a person at all costs, protect such and such a person at all costs. And one of the people was Anton Daniels saying, protect Crimson Cure at all costs at one point. And I just see, and I had said this on my channel, a lot of like unreciprocated protection there, and I am a mid 40-year-old widow as well. I'm not covered up, but
No, you look
there's, thank you.
good.
But what I get from the couple of people that I watched that were the women of the Black Manosphere was a very dark heart and a nastiness to them when it came to how they spoke to and encouraged other women, and the name calling and the shaming because you need to lose 50 pounds and things like that. And that's the reason why I can never respect the women that I saw. I haven't seen everybody, but the women that I saw, I'm just like, no, you can say, hey girl, you need to, maybe you should lose a couple of pounds. And that can sound totally different than calling somebody a name and saying, well, maybe you need to put down those chips and pick up a grape, you know. I mean,
Right.
it, so yeah, it just, the nastiness is what I don't like. So yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna be over here with you and with Uppity. I see Uppity writing a lot of stuff, and
Yes. See, this is the
and other
cool
people who are positive and just like, yeah, let's just do our thing and figure it out, without these other people. So,
exactly. This, like
mhm,
I said, this wouldn't happen in the BWE space. This wouldn't happen with black women content creators or black women in general, where we will put a male white supremacist at the forefront of our stuff, or even a white woman white
mhm,
supremacist or whatever. Like
mhm.
that wouldn't happen either, just so we can hear her talk crap about black men. she's still a white supremacist though. Like we wouldn't have that on here. Like I do have a lot of white girlfriends that have dated black men, like had at least one or two black boyfriends. And I have offered them to come on my channel to talk about their experience as a white woman dating interracially, considering that black women are now more open to dating interracially. But these girls are not white supremacist girls. They're just
Mhm.
talking about their specific experience with that individual black man and how it was for them, because black women come on here and talk about their experience, and it's always exalted about how white women are so much better to be with for black men. And
Mhm.
I was going to bring someone who is literally within that situation to come and bring the real deal. She ended up moving away, so she can't come anymore. But it would never be anything on the level of what Pearl is doing with this Nick Fuentes, who literally has a brand of being far right,
Mhm.
white nationalist, and talking bad about black people, and he's for real. Like, he's dead ass serious about the things he says. Like, he's not kidding. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
for
I
her,
mean, and yeah, and
it's
Pearl is not
yeah,
Geraldo or, Donahue, if you all are super old school. Like, if a white supremacist went on Geraldo or Donahue back in the day, they did it as, like, a journalist doing it where
right.
you were just talking to people. That was more fanish and, let let me add my 2 cents in and all of that. So like I said, I saw it coming months ago, and um I'm going to say this and then I'm going to leave, sorry.
Hmm.
When black men ask, "Why won't you let us lead?" For a lot of black women, what we just saw, this is why. This is
Yeah.
why. I'm not going to follow you off a cliff.
Hmm.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, this isn't a good example of how um you could take a black man seriously. Like, this isn't a good reason as to why you should. These black men started a platform, they started a space for themselves, and someone who looks nothing like them, can't identify with them in the slightest, is not only the face of it now, but she's also turning against them, trying to seek revenge off of black men content creators that actually helped her and gave her tips on how to excel in this space.
Mhm.
Now she wants to get revenge on them because they're critiquing her on what she said on the show with Nick.
And you know why she'll be able to get away with it? Because black women have raised even the black women that were fighting for them have backed off.
Yeah,
If black women were in that fight, there's no way she would get away with that. Think about that.
exactly.
Think
Oh
about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I
But
mean, if
but
the
but they
VWE
crapped on the
voice,
black women that were
yes.
fighting for them, not just us over here being indifferent or the super divestors. They crapped on the ones that were fighting for
Mm-hmm.
them. You can't do that. You have to be careful how you treat people. And this is where people are playing checkers, not chess, you know?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
all
I
righty then,
mean,
girl.
yeah.
Well,
No,
thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much
much
for
for
having
coming.
me. I got to run to this meeting before I'm too late. But thank you so much. And, I hope to join your panel at some other point in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ray, for coming. You're always welcome, and can't wait for your next live. If you ladies haven't subscribed to Sheree's channel, it's Black Women Making Money, and I'm gonna drop the link. Make sure you guys subscribe to her channel. She gives amazing and very useful information to Black women who are looking to change their life and change their finances. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Ooh, okay. But guys, this is it is what it is. I think that if the BWE voice was in the Black Manosphere, this would look different. Maybe Pearl would have still said what she said. However, Black woman would be coming for her as woman to woman. But since the Black men, yeah, like Sheree just said, since the Black men have crapped on black woman of really of all kinds, then they don't get that. Okay, they don't get their woman trying to stick up for them against other women. Okay, they don't get those privileges. They want, there's black men over there that have had whole live streams about completely replacing black women, and y'all already know, like y'all already know all the crazy things that have been said about black women over there. I mean, it's just it's something else. It's really something else, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I guess, Pearl, she went on a live stream with the lead attorney on Instagram, and she said that her next content is going to be something that you'll just have to wait and see. And, she's expecting, I guess, to take everyone by surprise, whatever her next video she's going to do. Um, but this is definitely going to change things for her. And I think she wants to have it go in a direction that is away from black viewership. Honestly, I think she wants to attract more white people to her space. And she used the black male gaze as a stepping stone to get her 1 million subscribers. And now she's ready to go to a different audience with that big number. Okay. Because if you have big numbers behind you, you can get in anywhere. You can get in anywhere, right? They'll let you in because it's still influence. Okay. But Obsidian has this live going on right now. Right now. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine trying to check as a black woman, trying to check a white woman for white supremacist comments and or, rhetoric, and black men come for you for doing so? Like, wow. What better way to what better way to be told that, as a black woman, your opinion and your thoughts don't matter. Atheist says just pearly thing is not racist. Let's talk. Obsidian is right. Well, if you want to come on and click the link, you can, and you can explain to me why you think she's not racist. All in all, I think she's racist. Sorry. I do. I think she's a racist. Um, and she's just uses black people for her pleasure. She uses black men to sleep with them. She uses black male views to make money so that she can afford her lifestyle. Because to have black people working for you, watching you, and supporting you, and then um, basically insinuate that, they don't work as hard as Africans, even though they working hard to get views on your channel to make you money. That's racist. She is racist. Okay. There's a lot of white people who are racist. They don't know they are because they were probably raised in it. And it was very normal to think certain things about groups of people and believe it. So I think she is racist. Sorry. And then why doesn't she have people that look like her on her show? Like, why? She's like, she always says that someone else does the recruiting for her show, but that's still your show. Like, why are you handing off who's going to come on your platform to somebody else? Like, you don't want to fact check and double check. You don't want to say, oh, bring on a diverse group of people this time. We had all black people on. Like, she could have easily did that. Like, she's acting like these things are completely far removed from her control. Like, it's your show. What do you mean? Anything that gets done, you should know about it. And you should be able to switch it up and change it up at any time. Uppity says these black men are constantly popping propping up people who are anti-black, then get hurt when they behave accordingly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, these black men love to hear anti-black woman rhetoric, but when the rhetoric becomes in general anti-black, and especially if it's anti-black male rhetoric, they have a problem. They get their feelings hurt, especially when it comes from a person that they thought was quote unquote on their side, which is what they thought of Pearl. Okay. I was on Clubhouse, and I think Pink Pill had a room on Clubhouse, and so I was on there, and there was a black dude who came on the stage and basically was saying, if a white guy dates you, he's not he's not gonna, he's only dating you because he can't find an extremely good looking white woman to date that he wants, so he's settling for you. And so then he was asked the question, well, and so then he revealed himself, however, before he got asked this, he revealed himself that he dates outside of his race, and that he goes on dates with non-black girls and all that stuff too, white girls and stuff. So then he was asked, okay, well, do you believe that? Do you believe that these white women are only dating you because they can't find a like prestigious, good looking white man? Like, do you believe that about yourself? Because you're also black. Don't know if you noticed, but you're also black. So if you believe this about black women, it's not too far off for you, because you're also within the same race. You're still within the same group, just a different sex. And he kind of stuttered. He was like, well, it's just like, yeah, exactly. Like, you sound dumb. Especially when we know that there's literally a video, remember? And Cynthia G usually has this at the intro of all of her videos on YouTube. And in general, that video kind of went viral, of this white woman telling her black boyfriend that in white culture, getting attention from black men is not a flex. It's only if you get attention from the white man as a white woman that it's a flex. That it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I got a good guy. Like, getting attention from the black guy is not impressive. There was also a screenshot of a Snapchat conversation between a group of white girls where they were all talking about how easy the black man is, and that you can call him up at 2 a.m., do all types of freak nasty things to him, and he'll be down, but you can't do that to the white guy, because the white guy, he's not going to settle for that. The white guy is like, has higher standards for himself. Right? So like, don't, they hate to hear stuff like that, but it's the truth. And this is a big reason why a lot of these black men are not taken seriously. It really has nothing to do with what us as black women are doing. It has more to do with what these black men do, what they allow, what they accept, and how they present themselves, and what they are willing to do. Society doesn't see black women as the same. I'm sorry. They don't see black women the same. And we know this. All the programs available for black women, the investment available for black women. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. Antebellum Black American says, it's not easy for a white guy to pull a black woman in America. It's simply easier just to get a white / Asian girls. I have heard this before. There was another Clubhouse room I was in, and I was reading the chat, and they were talking about black women dating interracially. And one white guy put in the chat that if a black woman ever wanted to date him, he would feel honored, because he knows that black women tend to not date outside of their race. And he's correct. The black women that are divestors, swirlers, and just in this space are not the majority. Okay, majority of black women still today are not trying to date outside of their race. It's a very small amount of it, although it is growing. There is a growing number of black women who are opening up. You see them on TikTok. You see them not only here on YouTube, but you see them out in real life now. It's still not the majority just yet. It has grown though, especially over the past decade. Even if you look at the census, it has grown. And I think it is going to continue to grow. Right? And I was And when I have been on TikTok, there's like lots of younger black men that complain that all the beautiful young black girls are taken by non-black men now. That was like a trend for a while, for a little while, where they kept seeing these beautiful black girls on TikTok with a man, and then poof, the man is white. And they was really feeling some type of way, right? They was really feeling some type of way. Atheist, you must be new to my channel, so I'm not really, I'm just not really about to trust you. But if you want to call in and talk, we can. The link is pinned, so you can stop typing and come on and we can talk if you want. But whatever. White men know that black women do not want to interracially pair and that we make them jump through more hoops than black men. It is something we know that black men do not. Yeah, that's true too for a lot of black women. That is the truth. All of the beautiful black girls are taken by white guys. It's true though. My brothers even mentioned this. Yeah, y'all, it's a real thing that's going on in 2023. So you can say that the number is low right now, but just look out for the next census. After the divestment and swirling messages have circulated amongst black women, the next census, I bet you, there's going to be a lot. It's going to look very different. It's going to look very different. Now, granted, black people are still dating each other the most. Um, the majority of the time when black people choose to enter into the dating market. That shouldn't be something that you should expect to change. But it still happens. It's still gonna happen. And as it should honestly for every single race. Because if you're a black woman who wants to date out, more non-black men for you. More non-black men for you to choose from. And whenever I come across a black woman that is like, no thanks, I'm not dealing with that. No white man, no this, no that. I'm just like, okay, sis. My first question for you is, where's your ring? Since you love these black men, where's your ring at? Are they proposing to you? Are you committed to any of them? And number two, have at it. More for me. More for me to choose from. Less competition. Okay? Because there is certainly not a lot of white men, Asian, Hispanic men that are specifically seeking to date black women, but there is quite enough for the black women who are open to dating. There's more than enough for us. Okay, we don't need a lot of non-black men to be checking for us. There's not even enough of us that even want to date out. But there's more than enough for those of us that do. If you know what I'm saying. But he says Eve the rapper is also married to a white billionaire. I'm sure he didn't have an issue finding an attractive white woman. Exactly. That's the thing about it, is that white men in general, they are technically the most desirable on the dating market for long-term commitment and relationship amongst all races of women, especially white, Asian, and Hispanic for sure. Okay. So if the white men that end up with black women, if they wanted a white girl, they would go and get one, especially if they're successful and they're kind and they have their stuff together. That is a man that's very much so desired amongst all kinds of women globally. It's just the truth. Okay. But even within the BWE space with swirlers, divestors, still white supremacists aren't invited and put on a pedestal or propped up over here. Why is that? Because in the black manosphere, I guess it's from what they always say, the stuff they say on the black manosphere is always centered on what black women are doing and what needs to change for the Black community and the Black family, but yet they will prop up a white supremacist. Over here, where dating interracially and actually talking about dating other groups of men is talked about a lot in BWE, we are not propping up white supremacists over here. We're not. And like I said earlier in this live, ladies, there's a lot of white people that in general, they don't mess with white supremacists. I had one white guy told me like those types of far right wing, extreme conservative white dudes are like seen as kind of like weird, and they're kind of like out the way. Like they're not the popular men. If you know what I mean. Ben says at some point more Black women will marry non-Black men than Black men. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, especially the younger generation of Black women. They will begin to, they'll start off as young girls, 21 or whatever, in college, out the gate wanting to um, date non-Black men automatically. And I would say that's kind of me. Like I did not have this thing where I only dated Black men. That really was never me, ever. I've always been attracted to all types of guys. I mean, if you were a good-looking man, I was attracted to you probably, like for me, I mean, my dates in high school were non-Black men. Black men from my high school did not ask me out. They wanted to date white girls, right? So, you know, it is what it is, but that was it. There was one white guy my senior year who really wanted to date me. I mean, he was so sweet. He met my parents and everything, but I was going off to college. So I'm just told him, this wouldn't, how would this last? Because I'm going to a different state and you're staying here. But he was like really like trying to take me seriously. I was not trying to take him seriously. Now that's one thing for me. Like I probably didn't take non-Black men seriously, but I would go on dates. I would hang out and go out to school dances, but there was no like legitimate relationships when I was younger. Those were with Black men. But I was still open, you know. But I do agree that today, though, young Black girls today out the gate are going to be taking non-Black men seriously and dating them and wanting to be with them, and some even having a strict preference for these non-Black men because they come from a different culture, and that different culture is more in alignment with what those Black women believe in, and therefore they're going to date them more. Okay. A lot of young Black guys today. Now, I will say statistically, younger Black men are doing a little better compared to Black men that were young like 20 to 30 years ago. Like, there's less gang violence. There's still gang violence, but less of it. Less younger Black men are going to prison, statistically, but they're still in the lead for it, though. They still have very high rates, but it is going down, but it's still high. Hope that makes sense. Um, so these young Black girls are still not going to deal with it. you know? So it is what it is. Atheist says Black women own slaves in South Carolina, so Black woman ain't any better. The Black woman is the enemy line. Well, no. I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, but Black men definitely owned slaves. Um, Black men played a lot of roles in keeping Black people slaves, much more than Black women did. Okay. So, no. Black women aren't the enemy. Black women are not the reason why these things are happening at all. So, y'all can stop with trying to pinpoint us down to something we don't have no control over. Black women don't have control over, what Black men choose to do, who they choose to give their time to and their attention to. That is not a Black woman's fight in a narrative. And these Black women on here, in the manosphere space badly want to make it their case and try to put it on the rest of us, it's just not going to happen. Black women over here are checked out from trying to save the black man. It's not happening. But he says mainstream whites do not take Pearlie seriously. They do not want to be associated with such a person. Yeah, I agree as well. From what I've heard, also, is that Pearl is trying to become like a Tommy LaHeron. I think that's her name. Tommy LaHeron, Tommy Heron. That lady that was also Tom Lauren. Tom Lauren. I don't know why I can't say her last name, but she was also on Fox News. I think she comes on sometimes, but she was on a lot more. And then I think something happened. But basically, they're saying Pearl is trying to go in that direction, which is probably why she's inviting all of these right wing, or what, I wouldn't say all of these, but she was probably beginning to start doing that until all this happened. I don't know if she'll ever invite someone like Nick on her platform again, considering all the backlash she's getting right now. But that is what I've heard, is she wants to go in that direction, right? That's what I've heard. I highly doubt it though, because she doesn't come up with anything original, Pearl. She just copies what other black men have said. And plus, she's only like, I don't know, 26 or 25. She has no real, she's not married. Like, she has no real life experience to be saying what she's trying to say, like to go where she's trying to go. She doesn't have that experience, enough experiences, and just, and not only that, but like I just said, she doesn't say anything special. Like, she doesn't say anything very thought provoking. She just kind of regurgitates things she's heard before, period. Like, there's actually one more thing I want to show you guys too, to prove the pale supremacy that runs rampant within the manosphere space, and actually amongst a black woman, though. Let's see. Because this is really weird to me. This particular content creator, I know y'all have seen her before, and she always is coming on here to talk specifically about divestors. And one of you ladies did ask me in the chat if this is a divestment channel. Where is the message? And I wouldn't say that this is a divestment channel, but this is a BWE channel, and I most certainly support divestment for the black women who believe that that is what they need to, that is the direction they need to take. There's some black women who, they don't want to be called divestors. They're just kind of living and doing what they want and all of that. But I wouldn't say this is a divestment channel, because I primarily, believe in best man for the job over here. Um, so that's that on that. But for those who aren't new to my channel, you probably didn't know that, and that's okay. But I definitely support divestment 1000%. I have made divested content. I haven't done it in a while, but I still have some divestment content on my channel. Let's see. Okay. LMAO, where did she even come from? Like, what was she doing? Be pandering to black men. Girl, it's stupid. Her entire reason for being on here is stupid. She just want to make some money. That's what I'm concerned about. So, I don't know if you guys have seen this video. I actually haven't. Well, I watched it on another woman's channel, um, who did commentary on it, and another divester. I'm subscribed to some divestors, and I watch some of their content because they still make really good Oop, they still share really good stuff. So this video was by content creator Chaz Sade, and she had this white woman come on to react to oh good. Sorry, my friend just texted me. My girlfriend just texted me. She's like, "Do you want to go to Orange Theory?" And I low key don't feel like going, but I was gonna go anyway for her. And she just texted me and she's like, "Oh, we don't have to go tonight because I'm gonna cook dinner for my man." So I'm just like, "Yes, yeah, that's fine. We don't gotta go tonight, girl." Yay! Okay, good. Because I've been working out all week. I feel like I need a rest day. But anyway, so if you guys have heard of Chaz Sade, she made a video with this white woman. I don't know who this white woman is. She's not like on YouTube or anything. About Cynthia G's content and did a reaction video to her content. Cynthia G talking about the black male babies stuff, and divestors, swirlers, and stuff like that. And see, this is something that black women over here would never do. We don't need to bring white people on to give us this validation. Um, at all. We don't. I mean, it's just we do what we want regardless. And this particular black woman content creator, Chess Sade, is I don't know what her intentions are at this point, because she is so firm on making sure that black woman divestors just, I don't know, disappear or are proved wrong or made it seem like they're crazy or whatever. I don't understand her intention behind this, because at the end of the day, a black woman who is a divester isn't going to date a black man regardless, even if she doesn't want to date a white guy. She doesn't want to date a black man. That's the point. So it's like you're trying to pull black women in that specifically, proudly, and loudly say they are done dealing with this group of men, and you still want to try to pull them in, and you want to use another white woman to do so. And it's just like you're wasting your time. Like, you're not trying to do anything for divestors, you're trying to do something for yourself. You're trying to do something for yourself. Like, you're the one, you're trying to validate your views on divestors, because divestors are doing what they want. They're not going to listen to a random white girl you brought on your show. They're not listening to you. Technically, yes, to them, a random black woman who can't stop talking about them like you're obsessed. No one's listening to you. No one's taking you seriously if you want to do stuff like this. Leave black women out of the mess. If you want to talk about black men, talk about them. Stop talking about what black women choose to do on their free time, on their own dime. It's their business. Why do you care? Why do you care? Why do you care? Why do these men care about a group of women, divestors, swirlers, whatever, who literally say, I don't want you. Leave me alone. I'm fine being by myself. I just don't want to be with you. Like, please explain to me the logic. Please explain to me how the wiring of the brain works with someone like that. I wish someone would come on to anywhere I'm at, look at me and say, I don't want you, I want someone else. And I'm still out here trying to prove to them why they should want me, why they shouldn't want that other thing they are trying to go for. This is another reason why the collective of black men aren't taken seriously, particularly by black women that want to move on to someone else. There's no type of conversations regarding black men just being better because it's the right thing for them to do. These conversations are surrounded about what black women are doing, and where they should be going, and how their outcome should be. I'm just starting to consider the black manosphere a gossip epicenter for what black women are doing and what they're not doing. That's all. That's it, in my opinion. Okay. So, it's very sad how obsessed this space is with receiving some kind of opinion or approval from a white person regarding black women and black people in total. Black women in BWE, we don't do this. We don't care to bring on white people to give their opinion on what us as black people do. We don't care. Now there are some white people in BWE, there are some white men that will come in and give their 2 cents. They have the freedom to do so, like they can with anything else. But it's not something that we call on. It's not something that we're not reaching out to white men who dislike black men to have them talk on our platforms for real. These white men call up on their own. Okay. Art of Aries says, Black women, please be careful of white men. That could be pandering in black women's spaces. Yes, absolutely. A lot of that too, right? But and this is where men and women are different in general. Women are actually very careful. Women, we can always be more, you can never be too careful, always make that a reminder. But for the most part, collectively, when we have all of our minds together deciding what should happen in our spaces we create, we collectively are very careful. Okay. Black women in the comments, black women content creators, we all share our thoughts on no, we shouldn't have this go on. We need to double check this. This isn't it. We do that, and we actually listen to each other and we follow through. We're actually very good with staying on code. I know a lot of black ladies think that we're not good with staying on code. In my opinion, we're much better compared to others. In my opinion, because stuff like this just doesn't happen in our spaces. It most likely never will, especially now that we're seeing it happen somewhere else and seeing how it will play out. Right? So we're definitely not doing anything like this from here on out. Right? So, I think we're much more careful. But all women are. We have to be. We're raised to be careful. Men are raised the opposite. Men are raised to take risks, to fight, to go for it, be a man and step up to the plate. Like that's how they're raised, with that type of like rhetoric and stuff. But not us. It's like the opposite over here, right? Especially if you're being raised around women who probably actually went through a lot of serious trauma. They're going to raise their daughters, their nieces, and they're going to make sure that, you're much more careful, those particular women, because they've actually been through something very atrocious, horrible, and traumatic, and they will make sure to teach you how careful you need to be as a woman so that you don't experience the same. Interested observer says, hi, fine woman at uppity arts of Aries and chat your channel, and particularly the wisdom you impart to your peers today. Be ever wonderful and excellent with all you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love. Make sure to like the video if you ladies haven't already. But yeah, you know, black women, we don't do this. We're careful about who we prop up in these spaces. I would say we don't even do any propping up in general. The black women that get propped up in this space, they they put in the work to earn that type of propping up. Like Real Talk with Yanni, Paris Milan, Chrissy, I would even say Pink Pill, and smaller channels like mine, Uppity, black women making money. Like we do the work, however. Okay. So that's why, we have the ability to connect with each other the way that we can. We don't just prop people up because they say one or two things that make us feel good. That is what I see a lot happen in the black manosphere. Say one or two things and all of a sudden you're loved. All of a sudden these black men are throwing you $50 super chats every 5 seconds. Okay. They're not properly vetting. They're not very careful with who they decide to have on their spaces. If you confirm what they think, they want you in charge. I'm sorry. If you confirm what they think, they want you in charge. It's that easy for them. And it makes perfect room for a person who's just trying to scam and profit off of black men, play off of their insecurities, play off of their biases, all of that, right? So, this will probably happen again, guys. There's probably going to be someone else in the black manosphere that is going to expose themselves, and it's just going to happen again. Okay. It is what it is. Let me show you guys one other thing. This was Abba and Preach did a video on Fresh and Fit and how they invited a black man who happily admitted that he would force himself on white girls when he was younger. Okay. And, it went viral. And this man was sitting at Fresh and Fit's table, basically admitting that he would force himself and his other black male friends. They would all force themselves on like one white girl, if you know what I'm saying. I can't get that graphic on here, but you know what it means when multiple men are forcing themselves on one woman. You know what that means? Choo choo. Hint, hint, wink, wink. This black man would literally come on, and he came on and bragged about that. Okay. And Fresh and Fit, they just laughed. They thought it was so funny. They thought it was so funny. And this is why. And of course, there were black men in the comments agreeing and laughing along with it. Albie and Preach were the only two black men that really had a hard no on this type of conversation that went down. But in general, the collective of black men online were in full force laughing and hee hee ha 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 with this black man in red who went on the show and admitted that he would force himself on women, white women in particular, and he, as some kind of like revenge against white men, that him and his boys would force themselves on their daughter as like some kind of like ability to give reparations. And there are black men that do this, y'all. There are black men that will force themselves on white women as a way to seek vengeance, seek vengeance on the collective of white men due to slavery and racism and stuff. Like some real sick, twisted, weird stuff. And you should read the comments. There were so many white women in those comments talking about, thank God I never went to any of these types of parties where I could be cornered and taken advantage of by a group of black guys. And remember, I did a live months ago for my OG subscribers, right? Where I did an entire breakdown on Jim Crow and the real reason why Jim Crow was created. And if you really look up the history, because I am a history buff, if you look up the history of Jim Crow and the person who really created it, it wasn't created because black women were threatening in any way. It was created because black men were threatening. And there are lots of archetypes of black men back then that were put into place by white people based off of the different types of behaviors they observed of black men on the plantation and regular life. So they classified them in these different archetypes. So that means you had the Uncle Tom, you had the coon, you had the, I don't know if I can even say that word, whatever. But you had all these different types of archetypes of black men. And they were all described differently. But one archetype that a lot of black men claim they don't like, but behaviorally I see quite a few of them participate in, is the brute. And the brute was supposedly a black man who was animalistic and had a high sexual appetite. And specifically, that appetite was for white women. Okay, I'm about to show y'all this. And I swear this is the same page I went to the last time. But this was and is a serious thing that popped up regarding how black men are seen. Uh, you know, well, hold on, let me see. Okay. How black men were seen by a lot of white men back then. And this is what really caused the reasoning for Jim Crow a lot of the time. Hold up. The brute caricature portrays black men as innately savage, animalistic, destructive, and criminal, deserving punishment, maybe beep. This brute is a fiend, a sociopath, an antisocial menace. Black brutes are depicted as hideous, terrifying predators who target helpless victims, especially white women. Written by a white guy in 1893, writing in the 1890s claimed a bad Negro is the most horrible creature upon the earth, the most brutal and merciless. A contemporary of Smith said of the black, when it produces a brute, he is the worst and most insatiate brute that exists in human form. Y'all, this was all written regarding black men. Okay, and then you had a black man go on Fresh and Fit and basically openly admit that he displayed this behavior. He literally displayed that he full on participated in this caricature because he thought it was his duty to do so due to white men, due to slavery, and whatever. This is a real thing, y'all. Jim Crow Museum, okay, written in 1893. And you still have black men like him who are openly participating in this. Now, what you can say is, well, there's white men that act like this. Yes, there's white men who are savagely attacking women, forcing themselves onto Asians, all of them as well. But it's not these guys do this not from a place of a racial thing. They're not men who do this, which really isn't even a lot. I don't even like to discuss this because I don't want to paint a narrative that all of these guys are animalistic, because that's not true. But when they do it, it's not from this type of nature. It's not from this type of reasoning that this black guy said on Fresh and Fit. Okay. So not only are the black men in the black manosphere getting online to talk about, what they're doing, what they believe, what they agree with, white supremacist rhetoric, and things like that. They're also coming on here talking about animalistic behavior that they openly chose to participate in with no shame in their game whatsoever, completely depicting the animalistic caricature that was created for them back in 1893. That was the onset of Jim Crow, right? And are questioning as to why black women won't lead or won't let them lead. They question why black women won't submit to them. And then they just don't want to believe that white women only choose them when they can't get the proper man of another race that they want. This is just facts, y'all. I even have white girlfriends that think this way. They would not date a black man because, they it's just not a good look for them in their culture, because the behaviors that a lot of these black men portray and or perpetuate, as in support, laugh at, he, like maybe there's a black man who's not doing all this stuff but he's laughing about it. He's like, oh wow, that's so cool, you the man type of stuff. They're still seen as problematic as well. And because of all of those things is why other groups of people don't want to involve themselves with them, especially other women. Here it is. During slavery, the dominant caricatures of blacks was Mammy, Coon, Tom, and Pickaninny. portray them as childlike, ignorant, docile, groveling, and generally harmless. So these are all the different caricatures that they came up with for black people, but the most dominant ones that started Jim Crow were the caricatures for black men. And Jim Crow started to keep black men away from white women. I'm telling you right now. That's why it started. Seriously. For real. And it had nothing, Jim Crow had, the beginning of Jim Crow had nothing to do with black women. Y'all need to really understand that. Okay? Had nothing to do with black women. So today, the things that black men are doing has nothing to do with us still. This is all about how they want to show up as men in the world. This is all about who they want to support, who they want to resemble. That's their business. It's never been the business of black women, ever, ever. Now, once again, when I talk about this stuff, I'm coming from a place of it has nothing to do with race for me. It has more to do with cultural norms. Okay, because you don't have to be a black man that fits the brute or the Uncle Tom caricature. You don't have to do that. You could just be a normal guy who just so happens to be black. And that's what I encourage black women to be on my channel. I encourage black women to just be a woman who just so happens to be black, in terms of you pay attention to things that interest you. What is unique about you as a woman? What do you like to do for fun? What have you learned so far in your life navigating the world? Don't attach every part of you to your blackness. That's just me. You know, some black women can't do that. Some black women can't disassociate because they look through the lens of race so much. Maybe it's just ingrained in them. You know, okay, fine. But at the end of the day, the least you can do is remain true to yourself all the time so that you don't end up looking foolish along with the other fools who think it's okay to play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Okay? You don't want to end up like that. That's not who you want to be. Okay, and I'm really proud of the BW space. Yes, the BW space has come a long way, and no, we're still not perfect, but we don't go out like this. I'm sorry. We just don't. We do not. We talk about real life things that are happening amongst us as black women. And, you know, we talk about really what to avoid and to be careful about. We don't like, we don't look for the validation. And everyone, when it comes to being desperate, everyone wants to attach being desperate to being a woman. But honestly, at least over here, I'm not seeing desperate over here because we're not inviting white people on, intentionally inviting white people on to give us their opinion on what we're doing or what black men are doing. We're just not doing that. Them over there, they're doing it. That looks desperate. It looks desperate for a group of people to talk about another group that is just living their life. That's what black women are doing. We're just living our life. And there's way too many black men and black manosphere ladies who can't stop talking about black women. Like, your obsession with trying to make black women get it, the modern woman needs to change and all this crap, is having y'all out here looking stupid. Imagine you spend your time and build an entire business over trying to get grown ass women to do what you say. Imagine trying to run a business like that and really sticking by your business, your brand. Like, you offer no real service, support to anyone. It's just all about telling a group of adults about themselves. And get this, they're going to do what they want at the end of the day, regardless. I'm sorry. It's like you have to laugh at some of these people because they genuinely believe that they're onto something. And you look stupid. You look dumb. God, I can't believe that the Black Manosphere has stooped this low. I can't believe they stooped this low. I mean, for real. Right? So, it's really funny. It's crazy the amount of black men who support her despite the things that she said that ins- and then, you know what? Let me rephrase that. It's not about what she said. It's about what she didn't say and what was insinuated, right? The it's about between the lines type of stuff. That's really what it's about, you know? And her saying that Africans work harder, and I think, I wish I could pull it up now, but I think Nick basically said flat out, yeah, blacks, um, American blacks don't work as hard, or he said something along those lines to really just put it out there. Um, but it's about what she didn't say that was a problem, and her just saying in general that slavery is a little bit embellished or like made to seem like it's very bad or whatever. And again, like I said before, I am a history buff, so let's just also talk about that part, right? Let's talk about, was slavery that bad? So the answer is obviously yes. Transatlantic slavery was horrible. Okay, let's also talk about maybe the parts that um, Pearl is referring to. Yes, black people own slaves. Native Americans also owned slaves as well. Um, Black men who were free were able to vote, or I'm sorry, black men who were free were able to own land, and you could have land if your master kind of gave you land or passed it down to you or whatever. And also there are plenty of white men who owned slaves that believed in more of a fatherly type of ownership of their slaves. They believed that to have slaves was to have like children, and that you should be more of a father, support, helping them make their life and their job easier on the plantation, than to be like this evil massa, evil menace. So that is like some of the things she was kind of like trying to get at when she made that comment, that there were actually a lot of white men who were good masters, who took care of their slaves, who loved on their slaves, and wanted the best for them. That is also the truth. And it's also true that there were a lot of black slaves who, once they were free, they didn't want to leave the plantation. They actually wanted to stay. There are slave narratives, if you read some slave diaries and slave narratives, that they will tell you that there's a lot of slaves who didn't want to leave because they didn't know how to read, they didn't know what else to do, they didn't know where else to go, so they wanted to stay on the plantation even after slavery. Particularly a lot of black men, especially, right? Which is, you kind of have to think. Oh, you kind of have to think about, the fact that that could have been a real reality. If you're a person who can't read, who doesn't know what else to do, and you already had a place to stay for free, you just had to work, and you had a place to be at, you would probably just decide to stay there, especially if you didn't have a mean, like, person in charge. That person wasn't mean to you, that person wasn't abusing you, you would stay, you know. So that is what she meant when she said those specific comments. But still, those people were not the majority of slaves. Majority of slaves didn't want to be owned and treated like property, or treated like children either. Grown adult slaves. That just that wasn't the majority. Okay, so to make that a point as to why slavery shouldn't be brought up as this atrocious thing to happen is very disingenuous. Sorry, because it was still very atrocious. There was still a lot of wrong done to a lot of black slaves, and to talk about the few that got good treatment, you're completely neglecting the large amount of black slaves who got mistreated and their lives taken. So, she probably thought she was gonna she probably thought she was trying to say something there, but she just sounded even more dumb. She sounded even more stupid. So it is what it is, right? But guys, it's been 2 hours. I just wanted to come on and talk about this and give my 2 cents. But keep the conversation going in the comments. Make sure you guys liked the video. I will leave this live up. I'll leave the link to the Jim Crow history also in the description. Once again, thank you to Shrey from Black Women Making Money for coming up and giving her 2 cents. Absolutely love her channel. I'll leave her link in the description box as well. So until next time, ladies, I will talk to you soon. Bye.